Hey everyone, so if you haven't heard, Apple just announced the new iPad mini and iPad Air. We're going to talk about the iPad mini a little bit and about iPads in general, and also how the iPads tie into my business, flying drones. Coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome back and thanks for stopping by the channel as usual. So this is a little sideline video today because Apple recently announced the new iPad mini for 2019 and the iPad Air. Frankly, I'm not very interested in the iPad Air, but I am interested in the new iPad mini. I'm not running out and buying one tomorrow. I picked up my last iPad mini right here, nice and small, and I picked that up, let me see, that would be November of 2017. The whole reason I picked up my iPad mini was for one app and only one app. And that app was Ground Station Pro. Ground Station Pro is from DJI. You've heard me talk about it throughout several of my videos here. If you're new to the channel, you can go back and check some of those out. I'll make sure to leave links for you. So Ground Station Pro is a really great app for pre-programming flight for DJI drones. Now, one of the things when I first started researching Ground Station Pro, I said, boy, this is something I want to use and incorporate in my business. And then I read, not only is it iOS only, it's specifically designed for iPads only. So that was a real kick, and I did not run out and buy an iPad mini right away. However, when Black Friday of 2017 came around, Best Buy was actually marking down iPad mini, so I actually went ahead and did a Black Friday thing, the first time and last time in my life. It wasn't bad at all, and I got a really good price on the iPad mini, which I incorporated into the business. Now, you'll also have noticed in the intro there that I did show the iPad mini isn't just for my drone work anymore. I actually put a couple of games on it and some other stuff. So it is a useful, fantastic tablet. And once again, I just want to show you, this is not huge. It's actually in a case. This is an OtterBox case. But what I really wanted to show you here, so here is my old iPad versus the iPad mini. Definitely a size difference, definitely a lot smaller. Now, the old iPad that I have, I actually purchased, I think 2010 or 2011. That iPad is still working. The battery is still great. I can actually play hours of video on it still. So there was a really huge quality factor back then with Apple that we seem to be losing touch with a little bit these days. And I've also done videos here on my disillusionment with Apple. So I've been an Apple fan since 2002. I used to run Unix platforms for telecom switches. I used to run Lucent switches with US Cellular, AT&T Wireless, and Sprint PCS. And when Apple came out with their new OS X way back when, and I found out that the Darwin system was actually a flavor of Unix, I went ahead and got my first Mac laptop. It wasn't even an iMac. I can't think of the name. Maybe it was just a plain old MacBook. I'm not quite sure. It was one of the white cased ones, plastic. They always look like you're going to get them really dirty really fast. Anyways, my experience with Apple for well over a decade was really fantastic. In recent years, I've found some issues with quality, and it's really disappointing because it leaves me wondering if I'm going to be leaving the Apple ecosystem at any time soon. But one of the things I can say, their older products really do stand the test of time. I've got an extremely old MacBook Pro that I breathed new life into recently just by putting in a new SSD drive. Then we've got my really old iPad sitting here, and that iPad is still running. I still use it. I don't do any of the software updates anymore. I keep it off the net because it's very outdated and no longer supported. The iPad mini that I have today is fantastic. I use it often with my drone flights, and it is a little awkward to set up with the Mavic controllers, as you'll see in the photos that I've been flashing up here and having you follow along with. So it's not the perfect platform for using the Mavic 2 Pro, but it is the platform that I need to use if I want to use Ground Station Pro, which I do. Now, from the announcements that we've seen from Apple, the new iPad mini is going to be a little faster. They're doing a new chip in it, and it looks like a fantastic setup. So hopefully it's as good as the iPad mini that I have today, and the experience that I've had for well over a year with this particular iPad has been nothing but fantastic. No issues with it. And through each of the OS updates that they've done, I've had no issues with it either. So right now it's looking like a rock solid product that I'm using in my business on a regular basis. And like I said, my old iPad has been around for a very long time and is still functioning to this day. And in the evenings, it's usually on the nightstand, and it's kind of used as my little TV for some white noise for falling asleep at night. So there you go. So the new announcement, the announcements that Apple has done with the iPad mini and the iPad Air, exciting stuff. And for drone pilots who are interested in using Ground Station Pro, you're going to need some kind of iPad. Now, I know we've got the new iPad Pros out there, and they're lightning fast, and they're super thin, and, you know, all that great stuff. Out in the field, when you're doing drone work, you are outside. You're not inside, of course. And you're exposed to a lot of elements, and you want something pretty industrial when you're out there. So I've got a couple friends who've picked up the iPad Pros, and I got to say, those things are so super slim. They're amazing. They're also very big. And if you're trying to connect them up to your drone setup and your controllers, they're a little unwieldy in size, which is why I was interested in the iPad mini in the first place in 2017. When you take a look at this, this is a smaller one. It's definitely thicker than the new iPad mini. And with this case that I have on it here, I'm just going to take this case, close it fully up. So this is an OtterBox case. So, and I do not work for OtterBox, and I do not work for Apple. But the OtterBox case, I have to say, has been fantastic in the field. It has taken multiple tumbles over the past year and change. It's been dropped in the Granite Dells, and if you've seen any of the video that I've done here from the Granite Dells, you know, really crazy rock formations, cliffs, etc. And this thing is held up very well in the field. So in that OtterBox, it's really well enclosed, so I'm not worried about using it. Even when I'm in windy, dusty environments, which is the desert Southwest, and here in the high desert, extremely strong winds. We've had sand blowing constantly. It's just something you live with in Arizona. So if I was picking right now from all of the new iPad lineups, that iPad Air, which really isn't interesting to me, and you can check other channels to see full reviews on why people aren't satisfied with that, or the new iPad Pros, which are super, super slim and pretty amazing and very high powered, but I come back to the, I'd be worried to take that outside. I'd be worried to break it. And also, just given the size of the new ones, they're very large and very awkward to connect to some of these smaller drone controllers. So the iPad mini is just the right size and just the right fit. Absolutely, without a doubt. And so if you've been holding off and you haven't picked one of these up, and you're thinking about Ground Station Pro and incorporating that to your drone business, I'd say between the iPad Pros, the iPad Air, the iPad mini, there's only one choice, and it's the iPad mini. It's my own personal opinion, and if you disagree, that's A-okay. We're not talking about Android or anything here because, quite simply, Ground Station Pro was not built for Android, so iPad-only application. So you can either start looking at the Pros, you can look at the new iPad Air, or you can look at the iPad mini. I think this is still a really good size screen. It's also very, very compact, and if you travel a lot, it's a nice small package. And if you throw one of these cases on there, like the OtterBox or cases from Pelican or any of the other manufacturers, you're gonna have a pretty bomb-proof little portable computing device here that's not only there to support your drone business, but support you in lots of other applications as well. There's a lot of software out there. Or if you're bored, you can download a couple games like I did and pop them onto your iPad mini. All right, everyone, as always, thanks for stopping by and hanging out for a bit, and we'll see you on the next video. Have an awesome week.